of how all the organisations designed, they said, to serve and protect us are not working for the benefit of we the people. I mentioned schools, social services, child protection, hospitals and other medical facilities, universities, colleges, local and state governments, the government, politicians, police, military, agents, all not operating for the benefit of the people. Some people didn't agree with a number of them categories at the time. Can anyone now say with any conviction any of those organisations are for and by the people? I suspect not. And that is what I promised in the very first show of THI. I will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And yes, I was right again. But it's not about me being right. It's about the information being correct. But from a psychological perspective, why is it annoying that one person or group always gets many things right? Why is that turned against that person or group, when surely everyone wants to be right, or maybe not? We covered in a piece a couple of months ago terms like he or she is a smart aleck or too clever for their own good. But what bizarre controlling statements they are. Because if you're bothered by someone being right all the time, is it not a reflection of you not being right most of the time? And in actual fact, I wish I was wrong on all those categories, but it's just not the case. Unless you are a Milgram experiment, non-thinking bot who accepts everything the authority says. But there's only one problem with that, is the authorities get it wrong time and time again. But they are not wrong from their perspective, because they are running agendas and heinous acts on and against we the people. His story is littered with it. Don't believe me? Listen to the From Russia with Love series again in its entirety. It's all there in clear and common sense language that asks you the questions: does this make sense? Well, you know what? None of their world makes any sense whatsoever. Even the clowns, bloodlines and psychopaths can't make sense of it anymore either. Why? Because all of them were lied to as well. They are just too weak and mired in their own illusions to accept it. Look at their ineptness of delivering a plan. They have no plan except creating chaos for them to create their order. That was proven 2 years ago when we were asked for a plan for a new planet. They never provided any. We did. And yes, it was we, not the I. Except they won't create their order. There is no order of the organisational kind or the peaceful operational kind. None of it. They're repeated loops, Ouroboros programs. As one fails, they introduce another that completely fails the first, and then another and another into infinity. And the gist of it all is, none of them are working. The problem with a problem is Until you accept you or it is a problem, there are no solutions available to fix the problem. And if you're not the solution or solution oriented, you are not just part of the problem. At this juncture in time, you are the problem. Everything in their world now has broken down, and nothing works anymore. You know why? Because it doesn't exist. It's a dead zombie world with Sims-like characters running around convincing themselves that everything is fine and dandy, when in reality that and their world ended in 2012. The world of illusion is the real pandemic over there. And they've even given them virtual reality games and tech to place them into a separate world of illusion, which when you overview it, makes 3 worlds. Now, where have we heard that before? Why do you think they're looking at technology failed at 2012? No matter what underknowledged clickbait style alt media people tell you, it failed. It failed for a reason. That world in which that technology did work no longer exists. Do you understand what I've just said? That world no longer exists. It hangs by a thread because people will not let it go. It's never coming back. It's gone. Finito. Ended. And a dead world that disappeared into a black hole and off towards the white hole for a universe that operates within the dark forces parameters. It was a sick world. An evil world filled with evil characters all dancing for and by the dark forces. Do you really want that old world back? Think of the mountainous volumes of disclosure we have had in the past 9 years. Why do you think we received all that knowledge and awareness of the evil that has pervaded the old world? Think about that for a second. And yes, there was some disclosure prior to 2012. But think of it as an appetizer. But ponder on the volumes you've had and heard since. Why was that? Why would the dark allow that to unfold? Because there are many ways to stop any information getting out. Because they control the internet themselves. So why did they allow it? Was it an oversight by them? Did their arrogance cause them to make poor judgments? Or was it the case they no longer had any options but to reveal the truth? Was it a massive lesson for us all? To stop accepting our own complicity and the slavery suit. To stop acting like children who needs a lifetime parent to look after them. To stop accepting fake saviour programs, which is childlike again. To stop accepting the Stockholm Syndrome self-abuse. and finally realize our own potential, providing you accept you were the problem and you accepted that you have played a role in it. And you finally realize that you, just you, have to provide the solutions to correct it. New questions arise for each of us. Will we come together? Will we work hard on ourselves? Will we work hard to cooperate and create new solutions for the new world? Do we recognize the old world is gone? Will we recognize we have a blank slate to create a new world? What is my role in it? What is our role in it? What will we create? Will it be a loop program again, or something new and better for the all? Am I an old world bot, or am I the crown of creation with unlimited possibilities? So did the authorities no longer have any options to reveal the truth? Or is it the case their control, actions and world no longer exists? And so disclosure of their failure to convert us all over to the dark forces has failed. And the victors got to write our story, not his story. And it's all about time, you see. But can you see time? What is time? Time is tie-me, which is a bind. Testament and covenant are also bindings. Is it binding you to their failed world still? But time is but an illusion though, isn't it? Why live the illusion when you can live the future based in reality and in a better way? Was prior to 2012 life and living? No. It was existing and being harvested. We were batteries and food for the dark forces. Is that what you constitute as life? The crown of creation, thinking that is life. Dearie me. Do you know how bad that sounds, looks and feels? That wasn't life. That was the illusion of life. Life is about experiences and learning, not stagnated children with no knowledge, no awareness, slaves and saviour programs. That is not life. That is a life of servitude and minimal existence. Do you understand your own role in that game? Well, do you? Why did we lower ourselves to those levels? Why allow lesser species to control you and us? You, I, and we did that to ourselves. The crown of creation reduced to a battery and a slave. Despite having more abilities, higher connection to source, more creativity and more of everything else, and we ended up here in 3D and being controlled by lesser species, It's ridiculous. You don't accept that that is the reality of the situation? Fine. You are still part of the problem then. The old adage of "I don't like being wrong." Well, boo-hoo. It's time to grow up and stop acting like a child. Being wrong is how we all learn the lesson. Not accepting you are wrong is not learning the lessons, and you are destined to repeat it in a Groundhog Day loop. As above, so below, as within, so without. But what is wrong with being wrong? That people have to go to enormous lengths and wasted energy to protect themselves from others seeing they were wrong. Tuesday's show revealed the sheer waste and stupidity of that. All that energy and life force wasted to protect others knowing you were wrong, when you could have said and done the easier path and said, "I was wrong, I am sorry," and then correct the wrongs and make things right. That is how we all soul develop, making the wrongs right. That way we don't have to keep repeating loops and patterns that have never served us, only hampered us all. Time, they say, is governed by certain parameters. Governed is the operative word. Kronos and his band of failed gods and goddesses of the past, who all fell due to their own weaknesses and arrogance, ego, and not accepting the ultimate in responsibility with their abilities and actions. But time is not just a clock, or sea lock, or lock of the sea. It is also a watch. But who is watching? It is date stamped also, but dates come and go. Yet dates and actions on those dates have a tendency to repeat with unerring accuracy, as we have found out. It is just a matter of working out the time span between the events. The most obvious now is 1919 global pandemic, 2019 global pandemic. Is that a coincidence or a coincidence? Which means it is a planned event. It was just a matter of time. But is it not the case of what time is it? Because the real question is where or when in time. Some will ask, what is the point of time? Perhaps the real question is, at which point in time are you? Time is a point of reference that governs and creates fear. But fear is a future time event because it has not happened yet. So where or when are you in time now? Time is linear and future fears, and so fear is also time. Fear is a binding contract which ties you into time, and so is destined to repeat it. And with all that looping, are you dizzy enough yet? Do you fear being dizzy, or is dizziness the fear? Is the fear the time, or is time the fear? The saying there is no time like the present, but just one comma after time changes that statement. If there is no time, enjoy the present or gift offered. Do you like the present or gift in the present, or was that pre-sent? The irony is, some want to create a time machine. Someone wants to create a time machine, and yet never realised we were in one to begin with.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think with fly, think.
Perhaps that funny line has a whole different meaning now. We are the McFly. Back to the Future is spellcasting because it means it is a loop. Because their future from back is a repeating loop. Oh my God, Thomas, you've ruined another favourite movie of mine. Indeed. And they call Shane the Ruiner. Well, he's adept at ruining himself these days, but he was a great help to me in the past, and for that I thank him. But linear is an anagram of line Ra. Do you wish to follow the line of Ra, or create a new path outside of time and fear? We have had enough of the line of Ra, the time constraints of Kronos, and the bullshit lies of the goddess Medea, of which the media runs in honour of her. We've had enough of the Isis path, which created Isis Ra-El, and the fake religion Isis Lam, and the fake neutral country Switzerland, which is in honour of her as well. We don't want an Anu world order. We will create a new, not Anu. All of whom came here via their maritime docking stations called portals. Al is God and port is a docking term, so the portals were docks for the gods via their time mechanism called Mari to the lock of the sea, which became sea locks or clocks. Another name they used was Stargate. Gate is another locking mechanism from which the stars came through, like what we call today's celebrities. They were the stars of the past, fake celebrities passing themselves off as the gods. Now they are called elites, but that is a play on words also. It is followers of the Els. El means God, as well as Al and Il, which just happens to be the international code of Israel. Isis, Ra are Els. Can you see the pattern now? And this is why all the world is a stage. Newsflash, and this applies to everyone, including Elites. News stands for nothing ever was successful. Why? Because we didn't create it or that. We just went along with it, and we didn't learn to think and act differently. When is the change? You are the change. Why keep the chain when you can be the change? When spoken in money terms, people often say, keep the change. Is that reinforcing the loop? Because the change never arrived. The cardinal points, north, east, west and south, creates the word news. The news is a time loop of repeating stories and patterns with the sole intention of keeping you in the illusion. In America, the news is run by the CIA. Are they CIA cars or Siakars, which are the Draco that is running the time loop and system, who call themselves the intelligence, and yet they are running on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is ran for artificial people. Are you connecting the dots or points now? Artificial intelligence is for non-creative people or beings, as AI can only copy and mimic like a bot. Do you wish to have a visual of time? Try this. Draw a 4 cardinal points or a plus sign cross on a piece of paper. On the linear side, horizontal, west would say past his story. East would say future his story. On the vertical side, south would say current our story. North would say future our story. Are you connecting the points or dots on the compass now? Will you go back in time by standing still, or come and pass from the compass? This is the difference between past and future timelines, between linear and vertical timelines. Where are you on that timeline? What time is it? What day is it? What date is it? Do you know? What if 3,209 days have gone by on the linear, but we are still at day 1? What date or time is it then? What is the conveyor belt of time? Linear. Are you a product on the conveyor belt waiting to be sold and consumed? Or are you a rainbow rising? Look back on your horizon? Am I coming home? Where are you? Sometimes the darkness can show you the light, but you are the light. Why have you voided it? And what is the solution now? You must always be willing to truly consider evidence that is contradictions to your beliefs, and admit the possibility you may be wrong. Intelligence isn't knowing everything. It is the ability to challenge everything you know or what you thought you knew. Being right is not the objective. Getting the right information to generate and then formulate enlightened opinions is the path forward. That then brings in enlightened consciousness. If you grasp, understand, and act on this last piece, we will not be at peace, but be in peace. Will apply to you all that do so.